For 12 millennia, the galaxy maintained a fragile peace, built on one unbreakable rule: no one enters the Forbidden Zone, not the mighty Captoire Empire with their fleets of living ships, nor the crystalline Vex with their mastery of gravity. For 12,000 years, that corner of the universe remained a scar, a place of cosmic horror whispered about in legends. Civilizations had vanished there. Stars went dark. The silence itself was a warning. Then, today, the alarms screamed. Across 1,000 star systems, every sensor, every long-range scanner, lit up with the same impossible image. A single ship, small and defiant, was crossing the border. It was human. The warship, Starbreaker, panic erupted in the halls of power. On the bridge of the Cathar flagship, the Grand Commander slammed his fist on a console. Holographic maps glowed red as advisors shouted over each other. This is madness. One ship cannot survive the zone's gravitational tides. Do the humans seek their own destruction, or do they know something we don't? That last question hung in the air, heavier than a dying star. Why would humanity, a species known for its reckless curiosity but also its fierce will to survive, send a lone vessel into the one place the galaxy had agreed to forget? On board the Starbreaker, there was no panic, just the low hum of the engines and the quiet, focused movements of the crew. Captain Eva Rostova stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the swirling nebula of greens and purples that marked the zone's edge. The view screen was a vortex of impossible colors. "Status report," she said, her voice a calm counterpoint to the chaos they were about to enter. "Life support is stable," her first officer replied. "Shields are holding at 98%, but we're seeing energy fluctuations unlike anything in the database." "And the instruments?" Eva asked. "They're singing, Captain." "That's the only word for it. The navigational arrays are interpreting the subspace interference as a pattern, almost like a melody." Eva nodded slowly. "Let it sing. All hands, brace for entry. Steady as she goes." As the Starbreaker's nose pierced the veil of the Forbidden Zone, the ship shuddered. Lights on the bridge flickered once, twice, then stabilized. Outside, space itself seemed to warp. The distant stars of the known galaxy vanished, replaced by an oppressive, starless black. The only light came from the zone itself, an ethereal glow that seemed to emanate from nothing and everything at once. Across the galaxy, the alien empires watched their screens in horrified awe. Their drones and scout ships, sent to observe from a safe distance, were instantly vaporized or simply went silent the moment they touched the zone's border. But the human ship continued on. Its faint blue shields pulsed with an unnerving calm, pushing through the cosmic storm. Then, something new appeared on the alien feeds. A shadow detaching itself from the deeper darkness behind the Starbreaker. It was colossal, its shape indistinct, a void within a void. It wasn't a ship, it wasn't a celestial body, it seemed alive. A collective gasp echoed through a dozen command centers. Fear was rapidly turning into sheer terror. The humans weren't just trespassing, they were being followed, or perhaps, they were being led. The question wasn't anymore why that humans entered the Forbidden Zone. The question was, what did they come here to awaken? And why did the most terrifying place in the universe seem to be welcoming them home? The galaxy held its breath, because whatever happened next, one thing was certain: the 12,000-year-old rule had just been broken, and the silence was about to end. Across the vast emptiness of space, a wave of pure, unfiltered panic was spreading like a virus. From the crystalline spires of the Quarren homeworld to the gaseous giants ruled by the Silicate Lords, every major alien empire was in absolute chaos. Emergency councils were convened on a galactic scale. Leaders with centuries of experience were shouting. Esteemed advisors were in furious debate. In every war room, countless holographic displays flickered, all tracking a single, solitary vessel, the human warship known as the Starbreaker. It was pushing deeper and deeper into a region of space that had been off-limits for millennia. Forbidden Zone. On the bridge of a Xylosian dreadnought, the fleet admiral slammed his fist on a console. "It cannot be. They actually went in." His voice, usually a calm baritone, was raw with disbelief. A reptilian strategist nearby hissed, "This is utter madness. No ship has ever survived that zone. Their technology is primitive compared to ours. What are they thinking?" In another system, a council of ethereal beings shimmered with anxiety. Do they not know the legends? Have they not heard the warnings? Do they have any idea what truly lies inside? The legends were not mere stories told to frighten young aliens. They were historical records, etched into the memory of every civilization old enough to remember. The Forbidden Zone was a graveyard of empires. It had consumed entire civilizations, leaving no trace but whispers and warnings. The most chilling tale was that of the Valorians, an ancient, almost godlike race, far older and more powerful than any current empire. They had ventured into the zone, confident in their mastery of science and the cosmos. They never returned. It was said that their automated weapons and reality-bending machines still lingered there. Powered by cosmic forces no living being could comprehend or control, acting as eternal, mindless guardians. And now, humanity, a relatively young and famously reckless species, wasn't just peeking over the edge. They were sailing straight into the heart of it, alone, with a single ship, without any apparent fear or hesitation. This audacity was what terrified the other empires the most. Long-range scouts, pushed to the very edge of their sensor capabilities, started sending back baffling data. The Starbreaker's shields weren't just deflecting cosmic radiation. They flickered with impossible colors, hues that no known sensor array could properly identify or categorize. Strange energy patterns, almost like living symbols or ancient runes, danced across the ship's hull. One of the lead scientists in the Galactic Concordance, a being of pure energy, whispered to its colleagues, its voice a low hum of dread. They are not simply exploring. The energy signature is too focused, too deliberate. They are searching for something powerful, something incredibly dangerous. This realization sent a new shockwave through the galactic community. The frantic debates shifted. Should they intervene? Attack the human ship before it unleashed whatever it was looking for? Should they try to warn them, a species notorious for ignoring advice? Or should they simply pull back their fleets, watch from a safe distance, and pray? Every empire, regardless of its power or philosophy, knew one terrifying truth: humans were not like them. A single, isolated ship had managed to cause more galactic panic than an entire armada ever could. Every fleet commander, every strategist, every political leader in the known galaxy was forced to confront the same unsettling conclusion. Humans were dangerously, catastrophically unpredictable, and in a place like the Forbidden Zone, unpredictability wasn't just a risk, it was a death sentence. Not just for them, but potentially for everyone. Meanwhile, aboard the Starbreaker, the atmosphere was the complete opposite of the galaxy-wide hysteria it was causing. The ship continued its slow, steady, relentless advance into the swirling nebulas and gravitational anomalies of the zone. Inside, the crew moved with a silent, almost eerie efficiency. They were calm, focused, resolute. On the bridge, the captain stood before the main viewscreen, watching the chaotic beauty of the Forbidden Zone unfold. He repeated the same order he had given since they crossed the boundary, his voice quiet but unshakable, a promise to his crew and a threat to the cosmos itself. No matter the legends, no matter the risks, we follow the signal. Nothing is going to stop us. Back in the alien council chambers, that quiet determination was felt across light years. The initial fear was curdling into sheer horror. Every empire watched, their senses locked on that single point of light, moving deeper into the absolute unknown. And in the silent, terrified minds of 1 trillion beings, the same chilling question echoed. What will they find in there? And when they do, will it awaken something that we cannot possibly control? The galaxy held its breath, waiting for an answer it feared it would not survive. The Starbreaker glided deeper into the Forbidden Zone. All around it, familiar stars vanished, swallowed by thick, swirling clouds of purple and gold energy. Space itself seemed to twist and contort, as if the very fabric of the universe were holding its breath, waiting. This was a place no one was supposed to enter, a graveyard of ships and empires that had dared to cross its threshold. Almost immediately, the alarms began. Alien fleets, a terrifying collection of the galaxy's greatest powers, materialized from hyperspace. Fleets from the Corinthian Empire, their ships like sharpened blades of obsidian. The Varelian clans, their organic vessels pulsing with bioluminescent light. And even the secretive Nox Collective, their phantom ships flickering in and out of reality. They all scrambled forward, forming a blockade of unimaginable power. Their warnings flooded the comms channels, a cacophony of languages, all saying the same thing. Turn back. Leave the zone immediately. This sector is under quarantine by order of the Galactic Concord. They threatened, they pleaded, they demanded, but from the human ship, there was no response, no messages, no signals, not even a flicker of acknowledgement, only a profound, unnerving silence as it continued its inexorable push forward. Inside the Starbreaker's bridge, the crew moved with a precise, almost robotic calm. Every sensor, every system, every holographic monitor flickered wildly, overwhelmed by the chaotic energies of the zone. Red alerts flashed across consoles, proximity warnings blared, but the humans just adjusted, adapted, and pressed on. They rerouted power, recalibrated sensors on the fly, and compensated for gravitational distortions that should have torn the ship apart. The captain, a man whose face seemed carved from granite, kept his eyes fixed on the roiling dark clouds ahead. The chaos outside didn't seem to faze him. "Keep the course steady," he ordered, his voice a low, steady rumble that cut through the cacophony of alarms. "Filter out the external comms. Nothing in this zone can stop us. Just follow the signal." Outside, in the swirling abyss, something moved. A shadow, enormous and indistinct, seemed to pace the ship, a predator stalking its prey. It was a void within the void, a patch of darkness that seemed to absorb light and energy. It vanished whenever the alien fleets tried to lock onto it with their advanced scanners. On the bridge of a Corothian dreadnought, every fleet commander watching the live feed froze. A cold, primal fear, something they hadn't felt in centuries, began to turn into outright panic. "It's alive, or something far worse," whispered a Nox advisor, its holographic form shimmering with distress. "No ship has ever made it this far. No one should be able to navigate this." Another commander, watching from a Varelian bioship, trembled. "The humans, what are they doing? They're either insane or they know something we don't." The deeper the Starbreaker went, the stranger the universe became. Gravitational waves, like ripples in a pond, bent around the ship's hull. Ethereal, ghost-like lights danced across the void, leaving shimmering trails that faded into nothing. The laws of physics began to fray at the edges. Instruments across the alien fleets went haywire, their crews scrambling to contain system failures. Yet the lone human ship pressed forward, utterly unafraid, a tiny needle piercing the heart of a cosmic storm. The entire galaxy watched, transfixed and terrified. Billions of beings were glued to their screens as news feeds broadcast the impossible event. One small, solitary human ship had defied thousands of years of warnings, legends, and galactic law. It had breached the unbreachable, and as it pushed deeper into the forbidden unknown, every empire, every watching civilization, came to a chilling realization. This was not an act of exploration. This was not a mission of discovery. This was destiny, a preordained journey into a place that was never meant to be disturbed. And in the silent, dark heart of the Forbidden Zone, something ancient, something that had slumbered for eons, began to stir. It had waited, patient and still, and now, it was aware. The signal the humans were following, it was a beacon, and it had just been answered. The Starbreaker drifted into the silent, eerie field of floating debris. Massive stone structures, cracked and broken, hovered in space. They were remnants of a civilization lost to time, the Valorians, an ancient race older than any current empire. For thousands of years, no alien species had dared come this close. The ruins were whispered to hold unimaginable technology and deadly, inescapable traps. Yet, the humans moved carefully forward, their ship scanning every fragment, every monumental ruin. The silence of the void was absolute, broken only by the low hum of the Starbreaker's engines as it navigated the celestial graveyard. Inside the ship, the bridge was bathed in the soft glow of holographic displays. The captain, a veteran of 100 uncharted systems, studied strange symbols etched into the floating pillars outside. These symbols pulsed with a faint, ethereal light, as if responding to the human presence, welcoming them. They were a language no living being had spoken in eons, yet they felt oddly familiar, resonating with something deep and forgotten. These are Valorian," the science officer whispered, her voice a mix of awe and disbelief. "It's just as the legends described." "Yes," the captain replied, his voice steady, masking the tremor of excitement he felt. "And they match old human records. Ancient records from Earth we barely understood until now. Somehow, this was always meant for us. Miles away, hidden in the swirling nebulae, alien fleets watched through long-range sensors, their crews trembling. They had always revered the Valorians as gods, all-powerful beings who shaped galaxies with a thought. Their ruins were sacred, forbidden ground, guarded by legends of cosmic horror. And now, these upstart humans were walking through their holy sites, completely unafraid. The alien commanders watched in frozen silence, a cold dread creeping into their hearts. What did the humans know that they didn't? Why did the ancient sentinels of this place remain dormant? The galaxy's most deeply held beliefs were shattering before their very eyes. The human crew, oblivious to the galactic audience, discovered an enormous chamber deep within the largest ruin. Long abandoned, its walls were covered in strange carvings and shimmering, moving patterns of light that told a story older than the stars themselves. In the center of the vast cavern, a massive machine lay dormant. Its sheer size was beyond comprehension, a metallic behemoth stretching for hundreds of meters across, its surface etched with the same glowing symbols as the pillars outside. It was a cathedral of forgotten science. "What is it?" asked the youngest crew member, her voice barely a whisper, echoing in the cavernous space. "Something the galaxy has feared for millennia," the captain replied, his gaze fixed on the heart of the machine. "And we are the first to awaken it in thousands of years." As he spoke, the lights on the machine began to glow brighter, a low thrum vibrating through the very stone beneath their feet. On the alien ships, alarms blared, their sensors screamed with energy readings that defied all known physics. Every empire knew the legends. The Valorian machines could destroy entire worlds, or protect them with unimaginable power. And the humans were already inside, moving toward its core, about to claim a power that could shatter the balance of the galaxy forever. But they weren't alone. Outside the ruins, among the silent asteroids and cosmic dust, shadows shifted. Something ancient and vast, something that had slumbered for ages, began to stir. Sensing the newcomers, drawn by the reawakening of the machine, the Starbreaker was no longer just a ship. It was a key to unlocking secrets the galaxy had desperately tried to forget, and to unleashing a power that would either be its salvation or its final, terrifying end. The Starbreaker slipped into the largest chamber of the Valorian ruins, a tomb of silence floating in the dead of space. The air here, or whatever thin substitute existed, felt heavy, thick with an energy that tasted like ozone and starlight. Pulses of pure light, like the heartbeat of a sleeping god, raced along the ancient walls, acknowledging the human ship's trespass. And there, in the center of the colossal chamber, it floated, a machine so vast it defied comprehension. A sphere of impossible geometry larger than some planets. Great, tentacle-like arms of glowing metal reached out from its core, grasping at the void, frozen in a gesture of creation or destruction. For millennia, it had been dormant, a silent titan waiting. On the bridge of the Starbreaker, the human captain stepped forward, his boots echoing with a lonely clang on the metal deck. In his hand, he held a small metal disc, its surface etched with patterns that seemed to shift and shimmer in the ambient light. Every crew member watched, their breath held in a collective, tense silence. The captain approached a control pedestal that had risen from the floor to meet them, a silent invitation from the machine. The disc, he noted with a surge of adrenaline, looked as if it were made to fit a slot on the pedestal, a perfect, almost organic match. "This is it," the captain whispered, his voice a low tremor in the cavernous space. "Let's see if the legends are true." With a steady hand, he placed the disc into the slot. It slid home with a soft, satisfying click. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a low hum began, a vibration that seemed to originate not from the machine, but from the very fabric of space itself. It spread through the chamber, through the hull of the Starbreaker, resonating in the bones of every person aboard. Light, brilliant and overwhelming, erupted from the machine's core. It was not a violent explosion, but a gentle, inexorable flood of pure, blinding energy that filled the ruins, washing away eons of shadow. On the Starbreaker's bridge, instruments shrieked. Alarms blared as consoles went wild, their sensors struggling, failing to quantify the sheer magnitude of the power being unleashed. The readings were off the charts, beyond any scale humanity had ever devised. Back across the galaxy, in the sterile command centers of alien empires, panic erupted. On a dozen different worlds, commanders and admirals stared at their long-range sensor arrays, their faces masks of disbelief and horror. Every screen, every tactical display, showed the same impossible, terrifying reality. A single, insignificant human ship had just activated the legendary Valorian system. "They've done it. By the void, they've done it," one insectoid admiral screeched, his mandibles clicking in agitation. "They've awakened the planet killer." On another bridge, a reptilian warlord slammed his fist on a console. "No, wait, that's impossible," he muttered, his voice a guttural growl of confusion. "The energy signature is wrong. It's not destructive." He was right. The machine's colossal arms began to move, not with the violent speed of a weapon, but with a slow, deliberate grace. They danced in the void, weaving intricate patterns of light. The energy flows that poured from the core twisted and bent around the ship, forming a complex, breathtaking web across the starfield. It was not an act of war, but an act of creation. Then, a voice echoed through the chamber and through the coms of the Starbreaker. It was calm, resonant, and impossibly, almost human. Identity recognized. Human. Access granted. The crew of the Starbreaker could only stare, their fear melting away into pure, unadulterated awe. The machine, the myth, the terror of 1,000 star systems, had accepted them. It recognized them. The galaxy had never witnessed such a thing. On worlds light years away, alien fleets stood down, their crews frozen in a mixture of fear and disbelief. Humanity, alone, technologically inferior, and effectively unarmed, had just claimed a power older than every empire in the known galaxy combined. The captain turned, a slow smile spreading across his face as he looked at his crew. "We now hold the key to the galaxy's safety and its future," he said, his voice firm with newfound purpose. "Stay ready." Outside, in the swirling energies around the ancient ruins, the very shadows seemed to shift, coalesce, alive with a presence that had waited eons for this precise moment to arrive. The colossal hum of the Valorian machine echoed through the chamber, a sound that resonated not just in the air, but in the very fabric of space. Its energy waves pulsed outward, rippling across the ancient ruins and stretching far beyond the planet's atmosphere. In the cold vacuum of space, alien fleets watched in stunned silence, their warships frozen at the edge of the forbidden zone. They had come prepared for a confrontation, for a final standoff with the audacious humans who dared to trespass. But this was something else entirely. On the bridge of the human flagship, the Starbreaker, the captain calmly leaned toward the ship's broadcast system. With a single gesture, he activated a channel that reached every corner of the galaxy. A human voice, steady and commanding, echoed in the command centers of every major empire. "The Forbidden Zone is not what you think," the captain began, his tone cutting through the tension. "It is not a weapon, it is a shield. A system meticulously built by the Valorians to protect the galaxy from a threat far older than any of our empires." A wave of disbelief swept through the alien fleets. The commanders stared at their screens, their strategic displays showing the immense energy radiating from the planet. A shield. A shield against what? The galaxy had known peace for millennia, a delicate balance of power they had all fought to maintain. What could possibly warrant a defense on such a cosmic scale? The captain's voice continued, answering their unspoken question. "A cosmic predator, a being that hunts civilizations, that consumes worlds. It is the reason the Valorians vanished, the reason they were forced into hiding after building this ultimate defense. We have discovered their records, their warnings. That predator has returned." The air grew thick in every alien bridge. Whispers turned into frantic discussions. The predator from the old myths, the devourer of stars. It couldn't be real. "And only we can operate this system," the captain declared, his voice leaving no room for argument. "The Valorian technology responds to our biology, to our unique genetic signature. Only humans can awaken this ancient machine and stand against the coming darkness. We did not come here to conquer. We came here to save you." Panic began to ripple through the alien leadership. For centuries, they had viewed humanity as an anomaly, a young, reckless species, too unpredictable to be trusted, too ambitious to be left unchecked. They had feared the day humans might become a threat. But now, they were faced with a far more terrifying realization. Humans were not just a potential threat, they were indispensable. Aboard the Starbreaker, the human crew worked with practiced efficiency. They were a symphony of motion and purpose, their hands flying across consoles, aligning the Valorian machine with distant pulsars and quasars. They charted energy flows across light years, sending complex activation signals into the heart of the ancient device. The machine, dormant for eons, responded as if it were a living creature waking from a long slumber. Its power, once chaotic and wild, now bent to the will of its new masters. The ruins themselves seemed to hum with a newfound purpose, the light from the machine casting long, dancing shadows that no longer felt menacing. "Prepare for impact." The captain's voice boomed across the broadcast one last time, a final, chilling warning. "Our long-range sensors confirm its approach. The predator is already moving." A hard, undeniable truth settled upon the galaxy's empires. They had spent millennia looking down on humans, plotting against them, underestimating them. They saw them as a problem to be managed. But now, as the first alerts of a shadow blotting out stars began to filter in, they understood. Humanity was not the coming storm. They were the only shelter from it. Beyond the edge of the galaxy, a shadow began to move. It was colossal, larger than any fleet of starships, older than any known civilization. This was the cosmic predator the ancient Valorians had feared for millennia, the one they had built their entire civilization to guard against. And it had returned. Across the vast star lanes, alien fleets froze in their tracks. Mighty warships, bristling with planet-shattering weapons, quivered uselessly in space. Their instruments screamed warnings, their commanders paralyzed by a force they could not possibly comprehend. A wave of pure, unadulterated panic rippled through every empire, from the crystalline spires of the Xylos hegemony to the swirling gas worlds of the Grok dominion. Alliances fractured, treaties were forgotten. Every species was on its own, but one ship did not freeze. One ship sailed forward, alone, into the heart of the approaching darkness. It was the Starbreaker, the last and greatest of the Valorian machines, and at its helm, a human crew worked in perfect, silent synchronization. They were calm, their movements precise, their determination a beacon in the encroaching despair. They were guiding a weapon they had only just discovered, a power they were only beginning to understand. With a hum that resonated across subspace, the Starbreaker's energy shields flared to life. A massive dome of protective, golden light expanded outwards, covering hundreds of star systems in a fragile, shimmering bubble. It was a line drawn in the sand, a declaration to the universe. And then, the predator struck. Waves of pure dark energy, a manifestation of the void itself, slammed into the shields. The impact was silent but devastating, threatening to tear the very fabric of space-time. Across the protected systems, stars flickered as if they were dying embers. Entire worlds trembled on their axes. But the shields held. The line did not break. Inside the Starbreaker's command chamber, the human captain's voice rang out, a point of absolute certainty in a universe of chaos. "Focus all power on the core," she commanded, her tone steady and confident. "We hold the line. We are the galaxy's defense." Her crew responded instantly, their hands flying over consoles, rerouting energy, reinforcing the buckling shield matrix. On 1,000 different worlds, alien leaders watched their displays in stunned silence. They saw the humans, this young, fragile species, so small and insignificant compared to the cosmic horror they faced. And yet, they were the only ones standing between total annihilation and the survival of every living thing. In that single, terrifying moment, every species realized the same, humbling truth. Without humanity, the galaxy had no hope. The predator roared its frustration, a psychic scream that echoed across the void. Its dark energy pulsed like a monstrous heartbeat, growing stronger, more focused. The Starbreaker's shields glowed brighter in response, stretched illy thin but refusing to collapse. The ship pushed forward, navigating through the heart of the storm, its crew entirely unshaken by the maelstrom outside. Just as the predator gathered its power for a final, cataclysmic strike, something shifted. The shields stabilized. The dangerous fluctuations ceased. A powerful wave of pure, white energy suddenly shot outward from the Starbreaker, a counterpulse that slammed into the darkness, pushing it back, forcing it to retreat into the deep void from which it came. The galaxy was saved. For now, the captain turned to her exhausted but resolute crew. Her voice was calm, but held the weight of their new reality. This was only the first wave. The predator will return, but we will be ready. Humanity stands as the galaxy's last hope. Across the battered empires, fear slowly turned to awe. Panic gave way to a newfound, profound respect. And deep within the Forbidden Zone, where the Starbreaker was born, ancient machines hummed in recognition. Humanity had awakened them, and in doing so, the fate of the entire galaxy had changed forever.